Hi, this is Vic, and today I'm going to talk about a painless treatment to destroy and eliminate prostate cancer from the male human body without surgery and without a hospital stay. That's right, prostate cancer can be destroyed, killed, and eliminated from the male human body without cutting the person open and without having to stay in a hospital, without a hospital stay. I know because it happened to me. It happened to me in 2007. In 2000, right now, as I sit here today making this recording, it is 2017. So that was 10 years ago. And I only live 20 miles away from a hospital that has a CyberKnife facility. And yet and still, no doctor ever recommended a CyberKnife to me. Not one. Every doctor that I saw wanted to refer me to a surgeon, or a surgeon that talked to me wanted to cut on me. And I knew what the immediate effects of having that prostate removed would be, is erectile dysfunction and incontinence. And I didn't want to go through that because I was 53 at the time. And at the time, I had a very normal life, and I was living life to the fullest and enjoying it and having fun doing everything that I was doing. So I wanted to avoid that if at all possible. And in desperation, I searched the web. I jumped on the web, and on the World Wide Web, and I kept coming across something called the CyberKnife. And I said, oh, that looks like a something I can look. Maybe I should go that way. So I investigated the CyberKnife more and more and more, and lo and behold, I found out on through the World Wide Web that a CyberKnife was 20 miles away from me, from where I live. And I found their phone number. So I called them, contacted my insurance company. My insurance company affirmed me that they would that it was covered, that they would cover it if I was, yeah, that they would cover CyberKnife treatments for prostate cancer on me. So that was good. Now I realize that that's going to be different for other people with different insurance companies. But anyway, we have a tool. The bottom line is, men, we have a tool. I don't care. I don't care if you were born a male, if you're born a male, your wife or your lover or whatever, you know, you're gonna there's a chance that you're gonna have a prostate issue. I read an article that says as the life expectancy gets longer, more and more the incidences of prostate cancer is likely to go up because as men live to be older, then the chances of getting prostate cancer go up or slightly increased. I I hope I'm recalling that correctly. I believe that that's what the article said. But a major motivation for me doing this recording right now is because here as I sit here making this recording, it is 2017, 10 years after I found the CyberKnife and went through the CyberKnife. And in 2 years, just the past 2 years or so, I've I've contacted I've personally made contact with two men that have high PSA levels. And in both cases, they're doctors, two different doctors for each, one doctor for each guy. They each have different doctors. It's not the same. But in both cases, their doctors wanted to put them on some type of monitoring program. They wanted to check their PSA every 6 months. I said, what? For what? It's not a chia pet. You're not supposed to watch it grow. And but I also, in addition to those two men, I have a friend, a female friend, who has a family member that that was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and she has seen some handouts of mine because I see her on a regular basis. She has seen some paper handouts that I've passed her on finding a hospital that has a CyberKnife facility, and being that speaking of that, I'm going to show you how to actually find a CyberKnife facility, no matter where you are in the country. All you have to do is go to cyberknife.com. Oops, click on locations. On the right-hand side of the screens, I click on location, and let me move my screen a little, and it's going to say select the country. So I'll select the country, I'll select USA, and once I select USA, now it says select a state or select a zip code and how far away you want it to search from that zip code. Now, there's disadvantages to selecting just a state, so I'll show you both ways on how to find a CyberKnife. Let's say, for example, I select USA, and then I select my state of North Carolina. And then I say search. Okay, now I selected only my state. Remember, only my state, and it's showing me, I'll highlight it here, it's showing a total of 5 results. There's the first 3 results. Okay, now I'll click on next. And there's the second set of results of the last 2. Okay, now if I click on previous to go to the first set, again, there's the first 3. There's Cape Fear Valley Health System, that's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. There's Carolinas Medical Center Northeast, which is the very one that treated me. It's 20 miles away from where I live. East Carolina University CyberKnife Center, Moy Boulevard in Greenville, North Carolina. And here's the last 2. Asheville, North Carolina. Okay, now on the left-hand side of the screen, this may be closer to the center of your web browser where you're, depending upon how you're watching this video, but I'm hovering my cursor right now over the Chapel Hill area. And right now, I'll take my cursor, and right now you see that little hand hovering over Charlotte. Charlotte is right there in the middle between Asheville and Chapel Hill. Those orange markers represent a CyberKnife facility. And right now, I'm circling my cursor over Charlotte. I live in the city of Charlotte. You see, Charlotte is approximately in the middle of each of these. So it's just to give you an idea of how far I live from those. And Concord, however, well, let me go back to the first set of results. Let's see. Okay, now again, this little cursor, I'm hovering over Charlotte. Now you see, that's the first one. That's the one that's in Concord, Church Street in Concord. That's the very facility that treated me. So you see how close it is compared to the other ones, the Asheville ones that we were just looking at a moment ago. It's right next to Charlotte, right next door, and not one doctor recommended, even mentioned the CyberKnife to me at all. Everybody just wanted to cut me open. But anyway, I started babbling about that so much, and I got lost. Okay, I think the next thing I wanted to do was do a search by zip code. Instead of going by, well, what I did was by US, I selected USA, then I selected my state, or you can enter your zip code and tell it. Let's go. Enter zip code and tell it how far to search away from that zip code. Now remember, the results that we saw were all within the state of North Carolina previously, right? Okay, now I'm going to just go with my zip code, and I'm going to select 250 miles out from 28227. But first I'm going to unselect my state just to ensure that the search logic. It doesn't search only within the state, but okay, 28227, 250 miles away from my zip code. So now click on search. And remember, last time we had 5 results. Now we have 14 results. And we're going to have a bunch of them in North Carolina. There's the one in Concord, the very one that shows up again. That's the one that's only 20 miles away. And there's one in Greer, this time in South Carolina, Greer, South Carolina. And I'm only about 12 miles from the state line of South Carolina. So remember, we only had 5 results because well, hold on. First of all, let's see. Okay, my cursor right now is over the marker for Greer, South Carolina. And you see how close it is to Charlotte? It's actually closer than the 2 that I showed you previously that were inside of North Carolina. So by default, there's a disadvantage of looking just within a state, because by default, anything that may be close to you, if you're close to a neighboring state, if you search only by state, then by default, the search logic is going to eliminate anything outside of your state. So if you live close to another state, such as I do, you probably don't want to search only within your state. I think in most cases the way to search is to go by entering your zip code and tell a logic how far away you want it to look. Okay, based on your how comfortable you are traveling. That will allow you to maximize your results. But there's on the left-hand side of the map, there's the one that's Greer, South Carolina. And again, there's Fayetteville in North Carolina. And I think I'm going to have one in Tennessee because I've done this before. Yes, there's Bristol, Tennessee, right there. And let's see. I've got to move my screen over a little more. Well, there's Fayetteville. There's Charlotte there. There's Durham or Chapel Hill. And Bristol, there's Bristol, Tennessee. So you see the distance difference between Bristol, Tennessee. Well, it's a little further. It's further than the other 2, than Asheville and Chapel Hill, but it's not. I don't think it's significantly a large significant difference, considering what we're searching for. We're searching for results to help avoid surgery. So the difference there may be minimal depending upon your personal preferences or your situation. But anyway, I think the best way to do a search for the CyberKnife facility is to, like I just did the second time, is type in your zip code and tell it how far out to look. Depending upon the severity or your immediate area, you may have to tell it to go further out. See, if I just typed in my zip code and went 50 miles out and selected search, I'm surprised. I thought I was going to get another one, but I only got one. I'm showing one result at Carolinas Medical Center Northeast. Now I know for a fact that Carolinas Medical Center is only 20 miles away from me. And just to solve my curiosity, I'm going to select 100 miles now. I'm going to increase it to 100 miles. So I typed in my zip code still, and I selected 100 miles, go out 100 miles, and I'm getting 3 results now. It's showing Carolinas Medical Center, of course. It's showing Gibbs Cancer Center. That's in Greer, South Carolina. So the Greer, South Carolina one is less than 100 miles away. Okay, and then there's Cape Fear Valley Health System, Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I would have a choice of 3, or yeah, I would have a choice of 3 within 100 miles. And depending upon where you live, how densely populated, what the medical facilities are like, close to where you are, you may have to travel. You may have to select higher than 100 or more than 50, possibly, in order to get a selection. But the CyberKnife facility itself is not. It's just a tool, just like a scalpel. Just like a scalpel, it depends on the hands that are attached to it, the skill of the people that are using it. I think the people that were used, it's a team approach. They have the doctor that did my biopsy in Carolinas Medical Center in a CyberKnife facility did something with he also assigned my cancer a Gleason score. I had never heard of that. He was the first person to ever mention that to me. He assigned it a Gleason score. And I guess that's something, I assume that's something that because of the way he was going to treat me, that he needed to know. He needed to calculate that for some reason. I don't know. But again, the CyberKnife, although it's something that can definitely be used to kill and destroy and eradicate prostate cancer in the male body, it's useful as it depends on who's using the tool, just like a scalpel or just like a knife. Depends on the knowledge and the skill of the person that's using the tool. There was a medical doctor who prescribed the dosage that he wanted me to receive, and then there was also a technician that executed that prescription right there in the facility. He's the one that actually operated the CyberKnife and ensured that I received what I was prescribed to receive. And the guy that worked the CyberKnife unit 10 years ago on me, I believe his name was Murphy. And the guy was impressive. I mean, just the way his approach to working around me, I was very at ease and I felt comfortable with this guy, even though I didn't know him, I'd never met him before, but just his movements and the confidence, the confidence that he projected gave me a feeling that, okay, this guy's a professional. He knows what he's doing. I'm okay with this, and I felt good about the whole treatment. But anyway, I delved back into my story. I didn't mean to. I apologize for that. But the CyberKnife, again, cyberknife.com. If you go to cyberknife.com, click on locations, you can find a tool to kill and destroy prostate cancer without surgery, without side effects, and staying completely dressed while it's all being done. During my entire treatment, I stayed completely dressed, and 45 minutes later, boom, I was done. He said, okay, you can go now. And I just went home, and that was it. Now, everybody's treatment plan is going to be different. I think my understanding is they design treatment plans based on the individual needs and your body and your circumstances. Mine was 5 days for 45 minutes in a row. 5 days in a row, 45 minutes each day. And I had to do that on my way to and from work. And once again, I'm going to say, fight like a Spartan. We have a tool, we have a knife that will allow us to kill and defeat prostate cancer. And I say to all men, no surrender, no retreat. A Spartan never surrenders, a Spartan never retreats. Now, speaking of the Spartans, you look at the color of the ribbon. The color of the ribbon, I had a graphic artist design it, change the color of it. He styled it after the ribbon that is used to fight breast cancer. He styled it that way on purpose, and I wanted it this specific color because I wanted to talk about this. I wanted it to be the crimson color of a Spartan. If you're familiar with the crimson color of a Spartan, you may be familiar with the movie 300. And like King Leonidas said, a Spartan never surrenders, a Spartan never retreats. We do not have to surrender, we do not have to retreat from prostate cancer. We have a tool that's in effect and it works well.